Good news, Phoenix Wright just lost a client, as I will no longer be requiring his services. The potential lawsuit that I was wrapped up in is no longer being pursued.
That's good.
It is amicably being banished to the Shadow Realm, so it's done and dusted. I even talked to Brad Arnold on the phone a couple of times, who is one of the people listed in the demands letter that was teetering on lawsuit. And he was very friendly and apologetic about the whole thing, and he was kind of filling me in on things with this system that he didn't even know was going on and he didn't agree with. And I think there's actually a lot to talk about in regards to how this even happened in the first place.
So they copyright struck him and he got a notification from a bunch of storm chasers back when he was doing coverage of the cyclone that was tearing through Florida. And because Charlie lives in Florida, he watched it for 2 seconds, and apparently that was enough for him to get copyright struck or, like, sued. But apparently they dropped it. It was a hurricane. Yeah, sorry, it's different, yeah.
But first, let me give you the lay of the land here in case you don't know the lore with what's going on. To bring you up to speed, the previously on Dragon Ball Z, if you have no clue what I'm talking about, yesterday I made a video going over how I might be sued, as I had been served some very hefty legal paperwork. It was spearheaded by an IP law firm believing that I was liable for potential copyright infringements and damages in the many tens of thousands of dollars, even into the six figures.
What?
In the papers, there was a sense of urgency to comply and respond, and failure to do so would enact even bigger penalties, and that would be when the full lawsuit would come through. What I received was the demands. And when I received this, I was, of course, pretty skeptical because there are a lot of, like, fraudulent bad actors out there that are phishing.
Oh, yeah. I've heard from really big creators what they do is that people extort them for, like, millions of dollars, or at least they try to.
Who knows? This could have been fucking pages from the Death Note for all I knew. It was representing two YouTubers, Brad Arnold and Reed Timmer. And I didn't immediately recognize who that was. And I don't do, like, React content or anything, so I was pretty confused. I thought this may have just been, potential phony baloney, suing local Florida man because he pooped when he meant to fart, I thought this could be made an error, especially because the language in the paperwork was very fishy, saying, like, I used it multiple times, but then it just listed the same YouTube video twice as if they were separate instances. It was a live stream I did during Hurricane Milton. Yeah. I live in Tampa, so Hurricane Milton came through with the fucking meat. And I was streaming during it, and of course I was checking in on Milton to see what the fuck was going on out there with this hurricane that was in my own backyard here slapping us around. And some of the footage that I showed
Charlie.
One was from Ryan Hall, y'all, who had footage from Brad Arnold in it, and the other was a bit of Reed Timmer. They were both storm chasing Hurricane Milton at the time, and in total, the footage that was used across both of their work was less than 2 minutes, and it was very, very briefly shown just to stay knowledgeable on what was happening, both for my own safety and just, of course, to, like, show the audience, this is the hurricane that's here. It was not copying it or stealing it or trying to, like, make money off it or anything like that. I reached out to both of them privately just to check, hey, are these real right here? Are we dealing with big naturals, or is this all, like, fake? What's going on? I just wanted to verify the authenticity, but 2 days went by and I didn't hear.
I've had people fake copyright strike my stuff. It's really scummy, man. Even, like, smaller content creators, dude.
Back, and since the paperwork did express a very real sense of urgency, I made the assumption that, okay, this must have been something they signed off on, so I got my legal team on it, and then I made that video yesterday bringing everyone up to speed on what's happening. And I also do think it was just an important topic to talk about in general, because it is concerning that if you do show, like, less than, like, a handful of seconds worth of, like,
instantly
during a natural disaster, you could somehow be liable for many thousands of dollars. Like, that is something that most people cannot afford to, like, take that kind of hit, especially when there was no wrongdoing, no malicious copying or stealing of someone else's work, just textbook fair use, staying knowledgeable on a natural disaster and using a couple of brief snippets of footage to stay up to date on what's going on. And getting served paperwork like that with, like, the very serious nature, the very serious amount of money on the line, I imagine is very scary to a lot of people that would receive it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many people got this big blast here, that I don't know. It feels like it was a shotgun approach, and boy howdy did they load that bird.
Oh man, that reminds me of the elephant guy that copyright struck the guy that made the original video, and then every single person, no matter how big or small, reacting to that. And I'm like, what? Sitting here with this notification in my emails, like, bro, am I about to get sued? And he's like, I want $600 or however much it was. I think it was $400. It's somewhere in that ballpark. And he's like, yeah, you didn't give me copyright. You are naughty. You didn't put the right video credits, and you need to remove it. And I'm like, can you? I mean, I'll give you the money. Like, that's fine. I mean, I made a mistake. I'm sorry. And the original guy that made the video that had the footage in apparently had to fight about it. Yeah, I don't know how they resolved it, but yeah, apparently they went into like legal battles or something for like a week or two. And then I don't know if they dropped it or not, but yeah, it's very, very common for people that get very irritated with people reacting to their stuff to just shotgun blast every single person, even if it's like completely fair use, like with Charlie, but he literally put it on the screen for like 3 seconds total.
Shot in.
That's crazy.
And both Reed Timmer and Brad Arnold were quick to respond, and also quick to like retract this whole thing, both saying the same thing. They didn't even know this was happening. So
tell your stupid lawyers to stop it?
I'm just going to clue you in on everything here. The company, Viral DRM, is a company that is...
It was 150. No, I'm looking at it now. I think it was... It was 350. Yeah, it was 200 euros, so that's like 280 American? I don't know. I don't remember the conversion rate, but... Oh, and there was multiple clips. Yeah, never mind. It was more than that. I forget how much it was.
I actually reached out to Matt before.
Look at the email
and
now.
from what I can tell, they are now getting into the space
but anyway,
of trying to represent creators as a digital rights manager to enforce their copyright, to smack down, bad actors that might be using it for their own personal gains. That way you can come in and take the pie back.
Yep.
And that's kind of the business model. The firm was not Viral DRM. I believe the firm was contracted by Viral DRM. They're an IP law firm. They're a very real firm that does IP law.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very clear that none of this was ever walked by Reed Timmer or Brad Arnold.
That's unacceptable. Why the fuck am I hiring you if you're just going to blanket shotgun everybody?
They didn't know.
What?
Both of them have said the same thing. They did not know I was named in this. And Brad Arnold went a step further, saying he doesn't know when they even send this out to others that are using it. That has now come to his attention now. That they are not even brought up to speed with who their digital rights manager is even going after and what for.
That's
now, based on the conversations I've had and from what I've gathered
on the law firm.
I believe the process
It's not on you as a content creator when you hire people like this. It's on them to tell you what happens or what they're going to do. They shouldn't, because you're representing someone as a person, as an entity. You have to tell them what you're doing. That's what they hire you for. You can't just like act on their behalf and then like act like as an entity by itself.
Viral DRM has this content that they have the rights to protect. They log it into their systems, and then their system will start to flag instances of that content appearing in other works that maybe didn't get a license deal or anything go through. So it will now see that that is flagged internally as a potential problem. Then it feels like they go full Yosemite Sam here, firing from the hip, shoot first, ask questions later, making the assumption that it must be a bad actor doing something, nefarious with this content to try and avoid paying for it, and thus action must be taken. And according to what Reed Timmer and Brad Arnold are saying, they don't even consult them first or anything. They just take matters into their own hands and do it without ever even bringing them up to speed on what's going on or why.
That's so bad on them. Honestly, if I had fuck you money like some of these YouTubers do, I would fucking sue them because they made me look terrible. Like, imagine Charlie did this video and it's not his fault, and these people are like, oh yeah, my random firm company didn't even tell me. I would sue the company that I hired, or at least like reprimand them somehow. It's unacceptable.
Without ever even checking with their clients here, in this case Reed Timmer and Brad Arnold, do you want to pursue this? They're just doing it without even consulting them. And it's something that Brad Arnold mentioned is pretty disturbing to him that needs to change. So he's already trying to like get a handle on that so this doesn't happen to other creators or other people going forward, because it is an issue. Like, yes, it sucks that I got served this paperwork, but imagine all the other people that might have this exact same legal documents, stack of legal documents sitting on their desk right now panicking that it hasn't been retracted because Brad Arnold and Reed Timmer don't even know they got it, because Viral DRM has already just went through all of this without talking to them first. When it takes 2 seconds for Reed Timmer and Brad Arnold to see, like in my case, how it was utilized and be like, oh, that's like totally fine. What the fuck? What are we doing here in the first place? This is a huge mistake. There's a big misunderstanding. Why are we even like this far down the road on it? The reason why they even have someone manage the rights of their content, as I understand it, keep in mind I'm a little new to the whole Storm Chaser ecosystem here and how they're
very vicious about copyright, but that's because they put in a lot of effort and they also like endanger their lives. I can understand like the principle of like why they're so protective. Like, I'm not upset like that the person that was like copyright striking me over the elephant clip, because it's like that's his life's work and whatnot, and like they thought that they weren't credited properly. Like, I understand that. It's just that I also don't think they understand how severe a copyright strike is, or like how serious suing is on a content creator's perspective. I think that's where the disconnect is, in my personal opinion. I understand both sides.
Content gets like exploited and all of that, but the reason why
Storm Chaser guys do have issues with news stations in particular sharing their videos. Yeah, I get it. I completely understand. Yeah, don't go straight for copyright strike. It's just they don't understand. I actually had another incident. I watched a video about Shibas, and there was a woman on YouTube that did an educational video about Shibas, and I have a Shiba, and I thought it would be really fun to watch it on stream. This was like 2-3 years ago now at this point. And she copyright struck me, and I reached out to her and said, hey, I know this is like, you know, out of pot. Like, I know I have like no grounds to like say remove the copyright strike, but I thought, I was like, hey, can we talk this out? And she replied to me and said, sorry, that was my manager of my YouTube account. I'm really sorry. I really loved your react. I've never seen a VTuber before. I'm going to remove it tomorrow. And I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to pay her. I didn't have to like say anything. She was like, I'm really sorry. Like, this happened. I didn't know that copyright strikes were this serious. And then she removed it. And I was like, holy shit. Sometimes all you have to do is talk it out. Sometimes it's just a misunderstanding, or it's someone trying to represent you and then striking people just out of nowhere. So I don't know. I've had good experiences and bad experiences.
Chasers sign with these like agencies and these managers is because apparently there has been a history of like organizations like media outlets stealing the content for their broadcasts without paying the licensing fee that they charge
so I get it, yeah.
to license it out. Or they'll do it uncredited, and they'll just take it without ever even contacting the Storm Chaser. And Storm Chasers, as I understand it, they pay out
Chad, sometimes you just have to ask nicely. Some people don't even want money. They just want to be credited, you know? Like, link the video or talk about it before the video starts, or like give enough input so it's not just you fucking sitting in a chair and not talking or anything. It's good for you to even ask really nicely. If they say no, then just don't react to it. I don't know. I've asked tons and tons of people over the years.
Pocket for these missions, really. So they have these managers manage the rights of it, so that way that doesn't happen. So if a media outlet comes in, takes the content without paying them, well, it now gets flagged internally, so now they can reach out and try and get that money that they are owed for the work. But it is clearly, you know, fucking digivolved into something far different, where now it's extending to the entire internet space where anyone now that shows even a brief section of the work is on the hook. Which is, I think, very different than how Reed Timmer and Brad Arnold intended for it to be utilized, especially with how Brad Arnold talked about it to me on the phone. He does not agree with how it is being utilized like this. It's just very odd. Like, it almost feels like it's designed to be there for, like, a settlement as opposed to going through, like, the entire process. Because it took...
some people do it maliciously and to do it for extortion reasons, and it's really, really cringe.
Brad and Reed 2 seconds to get caught up to speed with what was going on and why, and say like, oh, this is a big mistake. This shouldn't be happening. But the viral DRM has already gone through all of it, and I'm now served these papers. So it feels like they just built the case very quickly, and it feels very weird to me, because I don't think, like, if this didn't get retracted, like, if this went through the entire song and dance, the bells and whistles, I really don't think there's a world in the fucking multiverse that Doctor Strange would peer into where this would win. So it just, the whole thing is just odd to me. I do think that there was probably paperwork signed between Reed Timmer, Brad Arnold, Viral DRM, about how they have like full autonomy to manage their rights in whatever way they deem appropriate. But I don't know if Reed Timmer and Brad Arnold were aware of things like this happening. And based on how I was speaking with Brad Arnold and what he was talking about, it seems like he doesn't really like that. He doesn't know what's going on in regards to how his content is managed here and like this litigious nature. And like, it seems like the whole purpose is to stop like legitimate bad actors from stealing it and circumventing like the licensing fee and that kind of thing, which this was not doing here. And again, I have no idea if this went to a lot of people or just me. I don't know. Anyway, I'll stop blabbering here. Like I said, I did talk to Brad Arnold on the phone, and he was a very nice guy and very understanding of like how messy all of this was here. So, and like I said in the last video, there's no ill will here from my end towards Reed Timmer or Brad Arnold for this. I appreciate it being handled so quickly here, and I've got my fingers crossed, really hoping that if others do have this, it can be actually looked at from all parties here to see, is it a mistake like it was?
You know how there's like shotgun weddings? I think there's shotgun lawsuits where it's like you shoot first and you ask questions later, or there's like a gun to your back and you have to like answer it or else. And they just kind of do it super haphazardly without thinking.
In this case,
like
here.
patent trolls.
Hopefully, all of this can be, more buttoned up and better in the future, so it can actually be used to protect their content from people that are actually trying to steal it, rip them off, and that kind of thing. So, wishing both Reed Timmer and Brad Arnold the best here. I know they both have YouTube channels. And
it also made them look bad, because that video that Charlie released, I'm sure he thought about it before he posted it. And you're just like, that probably got them an insane amount of hate, too. So I don't know.
In their own careers, hopefully this kind of thing is just water under the bridge now, and there'll be no more scary legalese paperwork going to people that don't deserve it. So anyway, that's really about it. See ya.
See ya. See ya. Woo! Okay, that was really good. Good to know that there was an update, chat. A great cup of yappuccino. True. Mr. Bolton waited before posting. One of them said he never saw any message from Charlie. I don't know. You know, the other thing that could have also happened is maybe they saw the video and they were like, oh, shit. And then they were like, woo! I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't say anything. Maybe we should just retract it. I don't know. I'm not a mind reader. I'm not omniscient, you know?